Mental health is so important, and it's something that when you're busy, you put on the back burner because there's no time to be sad, there's no time to process your emotions. You got to feed the kids, you got to work, right? Well, I had to step away from social media for a little bit to make sure that my, mental health is okay and that I'm okay. And I have done so much reflecting this week that I've been off social media. And today, we're going to make a craft together. We're going to craft for mental health, okay? And while I am decorating this beautiful vase, I am going to talk to you about some of the things that I have been able to process this week because I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate, and a lot of you might need to hear what I have to say because I know that I would have loved to have heard this, at the right time. So today we're crafting for mental health. I am going to do some dotting. You know how much I love dotting. I found this beautiful vase at Ross. It was like $3.99. The flowers are beautiful, but they're not my favorite. So I am going to pull the flowers out. I'm going to create a beautiful dotting design on this. And then I'm going to replace this with some colorful, beautiful flowers. And we're going to put it here in my craft room to just give a little bit more color and happiness versus just having a white vase. So I hope you enjoy this video. This video, I'm probably not going to really explain too much of what I'm doing, only because I've done multiple dotting tutorials. This video is mostly for us to have a little chat together, and it's for us to remember what crafting is all about and just take a moment to focus on our mental health, okay? So I hope you enjoy this video. Please let me know if you enjoy this kind of content. I read all the comments, and I love you. Besitos. Mwah. In today's day and age, a lot of us use social media for our businesses. It's how a lot of people advertise. It's how a lot of people make a connection with their audience. We just rely so much on social media for everything. And sometimes we don't realize that it becomes an addiction. Even in moments where you're not doing something for your business, you find yourself scrolling constantly. Sometimes we don't even realize that we're scrolling maybe while one of our family members is talking to us because it's such a habit and we do it every single day. I also believe that we are so invested in social media and the things we're seeing on TikTok and everywhere else that sometimes during the day, we're not even thinking about other things that actually affect us in real life. We're thinking about, people on the internet that we don't even really know. We're letting situations consume us. We're overthinking, and it's taking away from us living our real life because to me, social media, it's not necessarily always real. And I think that we need to be able to make that disconnect in order to maintain good mental health. I never realized just how much I had allowed myself to be consumed. There's all sorts of stuff on social media, negativity, drama, just all sorts of things. And because some of us don't make that disconnect, and even on our free time, we're still working, we're still scrolling, we're still doing things, it's what we see all the time. So it's in our brain. And you could be the strongest person in the world. Eventually, you all kind of hit your breaking point. And a lot of you might not be in a good mental health space right now, and you might not even put two and two together yet. It took me hitting a breaking point this past week to realize I need to take a step back, reflect, and I need to remember who I am as a person, because at the end of the day, when I lay in bed, I need to be in love with my character and who I am as a person. It's the best decision I have ever made. I realized that I have been holding a lot of resentment in my heart, a lot of anger towards a lot of situations that have happened to me, and I never properly gave myself enough time to heal. I just thought I was okay, and I came back to social media sooner than I was ready because I wanted to make everybody happy, and if you are someone who puts other people's needs before your own, if you're a giver, you need to be extra careful because sometimes you can pour until your glass is empty and continue to pour, and eventually you will just feel like you have nothing left to give. And that's how I have felt for a while. I'm so glad I took a step back this week because not seeing what was going on social media every day and just making that disconnect, it just helped me reflect on what is actually important to me and how situations of, people that I don't even know in real life, they don't need to be affecting me this deeply. And even though we cannot control how others treat us, how others talk about us, we can definitely control how we react, and we can most certainly control what takes up our personal time and what we're thinking about, on the weekends and things like that. I'm an overthinker. I'm a very sensitive person. And when someone hurts my feelings, it's hard for me to get over it. I think about it all the time. I think, could I have done something better? Was it my fault that this person treated me this way? Maybe I need to reflect on, or then I get angry. And it just takes so much time that we're never going to get back. And this past week, I was able to sit in my craft room and craft for fun. I wasn't worried about, deadlines or anything. I just sat in my craft room alone with my thoughts and my music, and I painted things because I wanted to. I sat there and I had so much time to think, and I realized that over the past 2 years, all the things that have happened to me, I have allowed them to take over my heart, and I have slowly built up resentment and anger. And as much as I try to push it to the back of my head, it's there. And that's not who I want to be as a person. That's not who I've ever been. And taking that step back allowed me to realize the changes and the adjustments that I need to do to get back to the person I've always been. And I'm telling you this because just taking a week off of social media made a really big difference for me. I feel overall my mental health has improved drastically. I have not found myself overthinking any situation this week. I have just been happy, and sometimes people say things like, well, when you put yourself out there, that's just what you expose yourself to. And I think that that's a very nasty thing to say to people, because it's kind of like saying, oh, well, when you go to the store, you expose yourself to someone cussing you out. I mean, there is no excuse for anyone mistreating you ever. Don't ever let anyone gaslight you and make you feel like something that you're doing is causing people to treat you that way, and we should be allowed to create beautiful things and post them on social media. I'm a very open person. I love sharing my life with the amazing baddies who support me. They've become a very big part of my life, and I enjoy sharing my life with them and making videos. And just because I put myself out there on social media, that doesn't make it okay, for people to attack or do mean things or bully. So do not ever let anyone make you feel like, well, you put yourself out there, so it's your fault. Don't let people do that to you, okay? Your feelings are valid, your emotions are valid, and you're allowed to feel what you feel. The problem is that we don't make a disconnect, and those emotions, we feel them every day, all day. It's all we think about. I think that if you can at least disconnect on Saturdays or on Sundays, or if possible, both of those days. And even if you work during the week and your time for social media is limited, maybe just record content on weekends, save it on your phone, and use the weekdays to upload it. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be on your phone during the weekend when you're supposed to be with your family, when you're supposed to be present with your kids, with your husband, with your dogs, with your neighbor, with your side dude, whoever you need to be present with. But I have been so disconnected from my phone this past week, and I'm taking one more week for myself just to completely heal. And I can't wait, because when I do come back full-time to social media, you're going to see such a drastic difference in my energy, my happiness. That spark is going to be back. And I lost that a very long time ago, and I hadn't realized it because I just kept being strong for everybody else except myself. And this time I'm actually getting to the root of the problem. I'm not putting a Band-Aid on it. I'm allowing myself to feel my emotions and trying to understand where I need to grow and what I need to change. And I can only speak for myself, but what I discovered is that I need to forgive. And I need to forgive people that have not apologized to me, because I'm not forgiving them for them. I'm forgiving them for me so that I can let go of all of that. And I'm not going to lie or be hypocritical. It has been really hard to forgive. But I think I'm finally almost all the way there. And it has been such a wonderful release to not feel this resentment in my heart anymore and understand that we just cannot control how other people treat us, but we can most definitely not hold on to any emotion that's not happiness, right? Like anger, frustration, all of that. So I forgive the people who have caused me harm, and I forgive them for me. And it's something that I'm ready to completely move past. I feel like this time I didn't just put a Band-Aid on it. I let my wound completely heal, and that's going to help me get back to who I've always been. And whether your situation is relatable to mine or not, if you feel like you've been sad lately, if you feel like you're not your happy self and you can't understand why you feel sad, evaluate your everyday life and what you do on your spare time, or find out what you're thinking about the most in a day. If your mind is occupied all day by social media situations, that's your number one indicator that you need a little detox. And I'm telling you right now, I would do it again if I felt myself like I was not in a good mental space, because I've been able to sit and have conversations with my children and be 100% invested in what they're saying to me. My mind is not elsewhere thinking about, things that are not important. I've never been more present before as I am at this exact moment. And I think that's the problem, is that social media slowly breaks us down and we do not realize it because it happens slowly every single day. It doesn't happen drastically overnight, which is why it's hard to notice that change. And yeah, I highly recommend that you take weekends off, or give yourself a week off and just do things for yourself. Get in your craft room and paint something beautiful. I have been painting everything under the sun. I will have to make a YouTube video to show you guys everything I have painted, because there's nothing on here that doesn't have paint or a rhinestone on it. Anyway, I think that some of you could really benefit from just hearing my experience, and that was the whole point of this YouTube video, was to maybe help someone that is going through those emotions and maybe hasn't even realized that they're feeling those feelings. And maybe my situation will help you reflect on your own situation and put your mental health first, because life is very, very short. And so is Jen from Jen's Crafted Gems. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Have the sweetest weekend ever. Take a break, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Besitos.